What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and it is for Toons. So I have made some slight changes to my Toon list. Ultimately, I sat down, had a whole bunch of inspiration on how I was going to change everything, and realized that a lot of my opinions were wrong. I wanted to put in stuff like Prosperity, but then I realized, given that this is like a go second OTK kind of style deck, Prosperity clashes with that quite a lot. So you are still playing the old Extravagant style build. There's not a lot of room for flex, although when we go through, I will talk through some changes if you do want to overhaul the deck and options that you can go down. But as always, before we do get started, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into the profile. Okay, so starting us off, we have the card that basically fuels your entire OTK package in this version of the deck. That is the 3 copies of the Toon BLS. Ultimately, its pop effect is not once per turn because it locks it from attacking. So if you summon 2 of them, you can use that pop effect that locks it out of attacking. You slap them together for the Dragooblion, and then you just OTK your opponent from there, hopefully. So yeah, essentially the Toon BLS is key for the deck. It can also attack the turn it's summoned. It's one of the few ones that can do that. So yeah, overall solid card. Your primary monster you want to drop on board to fuel everything. After that, we do go into the 3 copies of the Toon Dark Magician. This is essentially your combo starter. So you want to have the Toon Dark Magician and the Red Eyes. Access to both gets you kind of through your entire engine. You typically want to have this in hand because you can summon the Red Eyes from deck with the Black Stone of Legend. So you just want to go, yeah, Red Eyes, slap down the Dark Magician, use the effects to hopefully get you to a Toon BLS, overlay the 2 of them together for a rank 7, then you can hopefully slap the BLS with something else for a rank 8. And then that's your Dragooblion, that's your OTK, away you go. Of course, then, that does mean we have 2 copies of Red Eyes Toon Dragon coming up next. Typically, just, yeah, the card you're going to be summoning from the deck with the Black Stone of Legend. You do need to play 2 of it, because if you draw 1, you need to have 1 in deck to summon the other. Just logical way to play that. Then, for our last Toon monster, we're playing 1 copy of Toon Harpy Lady. So with the Toon Harpy Lady, it's essentially just your simple back row removal. That's the reason why you're playing it. It's your main decked monster style back row removal, because you don't have a lot of room for flex. You have to have some kind of searchable way to out things. That is, of course, your Toon Harpy Lady. You can consider changing some stuff in the deck, like the hand trap option that we do have for back row removal. If you're struggling with dealing with back row, that is an option. Or you can just cut the Harpy Lady altogether for maybe a Harpy's Feather Duster. Keep it in the Harpy kind of tune there. Of course, then next we do have the 3 copies of Black Stone of Legend. You're going to be using this to summon out your Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is essentially key to your entire combo. That then gets you the summon from hand, and then you drop something else, either the Dark Magician, or you summon the BLS, then you just kind of hopefully win from that point. Push as much damage as you can and really make life hard for your opponent. Something you can look into as we reach the end of our Toon lineup, if you do want to play more of the level 4s, you can go down the line of maybe playing the Toon Mermaid. That would then open up room for Bahamut Shark, Totally Awesomes in your extra deck if you did want to go down that route. So that is something that you can consider. Next off, we have only room for 3 essentially spaces for hand traps. I have decided to go with the biggest power card possible, and that was 3 copies of Nibiru. This does essentially just facilitate you to follow up and OTK your opponent on the next turn. If they're playing heavy combo, you just Nibiru them at the right point. You not only get the Nibiru token, but they then get just a blank thing that you can just easily out with something like the BLS. Hopefully then you slap it in Dragooblion. Dragooblion can then just attack you for game. Also, you can just use the Nibiru to maybe go into an access code line if you do want to go that route. That's it for our monster lineup though. So now getting into our spells, we have 3 copies of the field spell, the ultimate rare Toon Kingdoms. This is such a nice ultimate rare. It does look really good. But yeah, Toon Kingdom, you typically need to have Toon on board. Fun fact, this version of the deck combined with Bookmark, you just don't lose to Sky Striker. They just don't have a way to actually beat you outside of just activate Mystic Mine and hide. And even then, you just do other things to just style and profile and do just kind of mess with them. But yeah, because they can't target, they kind of stuck. They can't burn as you. If you have the Bookmark, you can protect the kingdom to then stop them from doing other stuff. And yeah, just a fun thing. It's just a fun interaction. We then have follow up to that 3 copies of the Toon Bookmark. Still big thanks to Nikija. It's been a while, but they got me the first collector's rare and it got me started on these, and then I finished the set. Link in the description as always for 5% off with them. It's always been there. I never ever promote it. Probably should whenever I at least have the thing that they sent me. But yeah, bookmark, it's just the Toon table of contents. It facilitates everything and gives you that layer of protection. Great card. Really makes the deck ultra consistent. We do, of course, have the follow-up to that, the 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. Again, this is every card in the deck. You play 6 of them, so deck very consistent. You have, like, this many ways to search everything. This many is 6, not 3. I just realized that seemed a bit dumb. After that, though, we have the 3 copies of Toon Page Flip. Hopefully this can facilitate your summons, get your combos started, and then hopefully you OTK your opponent from there. That's why we're playing 3 of it. It is a hard once per turn, so drawing 2 of it kind of sucks, but what can you do? You want to have as consistent a way as possible to win. You can possibly consider trimming it down to like 2 or 1, given that it is searchable. But if you open one of it, you can just freely search another card, and that's good. So you don't mind if you draw it. Next off, we've got 3 copies of Toon Rollback. Rollback is effectively just going to give you that second attack during the battle phase. They attack directly, so that's just win-win, and win more is win-win. I believe like you end up with like rollback. If you can get to like rollback BLS and then like the Red Eyes Dark Magician package, you can like overlay them for something like a Darkness Medal. You can use the rollback, swing twice with the BLS. I don't know why I'm like discussing things up here. Discussing it is here. You attack twice with the BLS. Then you have like the Flare Metal. It does as much damage as possible. If you don't kill your opponent, you can soft lock them. So with the Flare Metal, they can't actually activate anything because they'll then burn to death. So it's just a cool way that you can have that interaction going on with this. Then we have the Comic Hand. Of course, stealing stuff is fun. You can't steal a Dragoon because equip spells equip by game mechanic, or they target by game mechanic, so you can't do that. However, stealing something like an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is like really funny. It's just so good. Next off, we have the Shadow Toon. We're playing just one of it just because you can get a cheese little burn out of your opponent. You just target the face-up like card they control, hit them directly with it, and then hopefully you can just like attack for game after that. We are then, of course, into the 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. You can't play Prosperity in this deck because it stops you from being able to OTK your opponent, so Extravagance is the way we're still playing. Then, of course, we do have the 1 copy of Terraforming to get us to that Toon Kingdom, and the 1 copy of 1-for-1 to get us to the Redstone of Legend. Then, of course, the Blackstone of Legend. Of course, then, if you are made to go first, that's where the 40th card comes in. This card can be cut. You can move this to the sideboard if you want to play something else. It is, of course, the 1 copy of Toon Terror. The reason why we're playing the 1 of it is, of course, if you do get made to go first, you do have a searchable counter trap, and this is the reason why we have it just at 1 copy in the deck. Okay, next off, we have the extra deck, and of course, we do start with Dragooblion. It is 1 copy of Dragooblion, and I'm playing 1 copy of the Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. You should be playing this at 2. I simply don't own 2 Dragooblion. That is my problem. That is something you should definitely look at. The last 2 cards in this extra deck are completely cuttable if you do want to change this up. But yeah, with the Extravagance, you should be playing 2 copies of Dragooblion because it facilitates so much in terms of your OTK. We do then have the 1 copy of the Galaxy, or the Hope Harbinger, Titanic Galaxy. Just your spell and trap negate. If you do end up having to go first, you just like slap this on board. Hopefully you have the counter trap and like something else to like facilitate the counter trap. You should just kind of be able to control your opponent a little bit from there. You probably won't be able to like fully shut them down. You will need to have a counter swing for later, but this is just the way you can go. We have the 1 copy of Sanafond after that because it can just floodgate out opponents, which is always good. It's like a rank 8 Abyss Dweller. Then we have 2 copies of Big Eye and the 2 copies of Flare Metal. These are here because we do have the Extravagance build. We do typically need to have like either of the Big Eye or the Flare Metal for when we're going second to use when we're using that Blackstone of Legend package where we go into the Red Eyes, the Dark Magician, slap them over into one of these 2, and then you kind of roll from there. The Flare Metal, you can soft lock them with the burn damage. The Big Eye, you can just steal something, and then that thing punches your opponent in the face. Then for our links, of course, we do have 1 copy of Access Code. I don't normally go in this order of big to small. We're going big to small apparently. But we have 1 copy of Access Code to go with our Selene and Win the Wind Verdant Charmer. So you Win the Wind Verdant. Hopefully, if your opponent has a wind monster, you're playing Toons, so Droll could very well come up. They know you're going to search a lot. So you can go into like your Toon Harpy Lady and something else, slap into the Win. Hopefully then you got enough like stuff so your Win can then take the Droll. Then you go into your Selene. Because you're playing a lot of spells, you should then have the spells to be able to get the Selene into the Access Code. I didn't think that one through fully. Not fully. Doesn't quite work like that. It's not that simple. If only it was that simple, because you don't have an Effect Veiler or anything in this list. Is something to consider there. Okay, I do apologize. I got a little bit confused there. The Selene goes into Dark Magician. So your Dark Magician is your spellcaster. You summon that off Selene. and then your Selene can go into your access code. That's just a way you push for game. Sorry, we got a little bit confused there. I get so used to just having an effect veiler whenever I use this package that it's just not something that I consider. But yeah, your Dark Magician is what you're going to be using off the Selene. Then for our Link 1, we've got 1 copy of Linkuriboh. This is just for playing around with your dead Blackstone of Legends. So you can go into the Linkuriboh and you can just kind of transition them back and forth, which is always like a fun, cute thing to do. We have the 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker because it can get you back to Toon Kingdom if you do need to do that. Overall, it can just like discard useless cards if you do want to go that route. But then the last 2 cards, these are completely cuttable. We are playing, of course, 1 Entis and 1 Totally Awesome, just for if we get Maximist. We can get a little bit of value out of that. I would consider like cutting these and just playing stuff like the Extended Dragublium package, or maybe some other links. I'm not 100% sure what you would play though. Possibly you might want to consider playing like 2 Access Code if you do want to go that line for your OTKs. You can like cut the Dragublium package altogether if you don't own them, but you somehow own an Access Code. And you could go like maybe a double Access Code line if that's the way you want to facilitate your OTKs. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any things or recommendations you would change, comment them down below. Who knows, maybe your recommendations might help a player that plays a different style of build that I play. Might help them find like the best way to play their deck. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.